Hey everybody, welcome to another CrushLivePoker.com hand review. And on this night, I'm going to be taking a look at a recent hand that I played for super thin value on the Live of the Bike ante game. Now, if you're not familiar with Live of the Bike, they stream live cash games every Tuesday through Friday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific time. And on Tuesdays, we play the ante game, which is actually kind of an interesting sort of setup. It's a 5-5 game with a $50 big blind ante. We used to play it 5-5, everyone antes 5. But it usually plays between like a 15-30 and a 20-40 no limit hold'em game because the open size is like 75 to 100. So in this particular hand, I pick up pocket jacks from under the gun and I make my sort of standard open sizing to 75. Gets folded all the way around to the big blind Sam, and he makes the call. And we see the pot at 205 and we go to the flop and we're heads up. So the board comes out 7-8-3 rainbow, obviously pretty good for my hand with an overpair. But Sam is going to have a lot of hands because he is getting a price because of the ante. He checks, and I decide to make a $100 bet, and he makes a quick call. Now, Sam did a lot of floating in this game. I think he's calling with any pair, any gut shot. I also saw him call with overcards. I mean, he's a recreational player. He's there to have a good time, not necessarily to fold. So he's very, very wide in this spot. So we roll to the turn, and something sort of kind of unexpected happens. Sam leads out for 250 into 450 here on this 4 of hearts turn. Now, obviously, 5-6 comes in. He also might have made like 2 pair with 7-4, 3-4, something like that. I still felt like I had the best hand here quite a bit, and a case could be made where I could maybe raise here on the turn, get value from draws, and figure out whether or not I'm going to bet the river. I mean, a backdoor heart draw comes out there too. He could have like 7x of hearts. The issue, though, sometimes with raising here is if I do raise, Sam can come back over the top with a 3-bet, and he could do that with a lot of semi-bluff hands that have a sort of a ton of equity if he doesn't think like I'm opening 5-6 from under the gun. So it really sort of puts you in a precarious spot if your opponent is capable of driving some draws. I thought the better play here was for me to call, and then if the river came out a brick and he checked, I could just bomb it for value. And that includes like maybe even blank over cards, like blank, queen, king. I would probably size down a little bit, thinking that he had like a top pair type of hand on the flop, like an 8, but I would still, bet for value. So I make the call and we roll to the river. So with the pot being $905, the river comes out the 9 of spades. Sam thinks about it for a bit and he sort of makes a blockish type of $300 bet. Now, I think that if he had bet something more like 450 or 500, I probably would have just called in the spot. I mean, he can have like 2 pair, like I said, he can have a straight. But when he makes this really, really small sizing, it just has something to do with my live experience. I've been playing live no limit since 2005. I just didn't think that he had those hands. I mean, it looks like I have at least something in overpair, or maybe I missed a backdoor heart draw. So I think that he would want to get value from those hands and pick a larger sizing. Recreational players tend to telegraph the strength of their hand by their bet sizing. My specific hand, I actually also get protected by the fact that I block 2 of the absolute nuts with Jack 10. I've got 2 jacks in my hand, which means that it's very unlikely that he has Jack 10. I also don't think he plays Jack 10 as a check call lead here. So when you look at this, if I were to make a very, very sort of thin value raise, I'm not even sure if any hands come back over the top here either. I also have the Jack of Hearts in my hand, so it's possible that, I could have like Jack 10 of Hearts. I mean, my opponent just doesn't have the Jack of Hearts, so he can't have that hand. So, even if I do sort of value own myself, which means like make a raise here with the worst hand for value, he can't really come over the top. So I'm never really expecting a 3-bet here, as opposed to having queens, kings, or aces. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have raised with queens, kings, or aces. It's just like another added thing. So he bets 300 into 900. The pot's 1200. And I just, like I said, I kind of feel like I've got the best hand here. Now, just because I have the best hand does not give me the right to raise. When you look at sort of river math, if you make a bet or a raise for value, not only do you have to have the best hand, but you have to be good more than 50% of the time when called. So I can't just blast this. I can't go from like 300 to 2,000, but I thought that I could sort of make in between kind of like a small raise, like between like a min raise and a 3x. At first, I sort of cut out 900. Then I decided to make it 800, sort of calculating the pot out. You know, 309 is 12. If I make the call, it's 15. So I'm like, I can make it 500 more, and that will be 2,000. And he'll be getting like 4 to 1. Needs to be good 1 out of 5 times, you know, on the call. So I pulled the trigger. I decide that I think that that is the case, and I decide to go for a raise here to 800. A lot of people thought that that was too thin. You know, people watching in the YouTube live chat are screaming, go all in, go all in, go all in. Well, that dynamic just doesn't really exist all that much in live no limit. I mean, I can count the number of times on one hand people check raise the river as a bluff. How about bet 3-betting the river as a bluff? It just doesn't really happen all that much. And again, I block, you know, some of the nut combinations. So I make it 800, and things work out for me pretty well.
Raise it to 800.
And he does make the small raise to 800, and can Bart get paid off? Good raise by Bart Hanson. Sam has to call 500 here to win a pot of 2,500. Could Bart be value bluffing here for this size 20% of the time? And Sam does pay it off. Well done by Bart to get extra value on the river as he takes it down with pocket jacks.
If you like what you've seen here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to check out more training videos like this, head over to crushlivepoker.com. And of course, check out Live at the Bike every Tuesday through Friday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific time over on their YouTube or Twitch channel.